people of Earth. Hey, I'm Dan Aykroyd. Welcome to the Rock River, my home here in Eastern Ontario. This will be a very special afternoon because I can't visit you guys. Hey, you get to visit with me at my place here where I've been isolating. Now, normally, there'd be a day like this, like 100 people for our campfire and our session today with Crystal Head Vodka, but in these times, it's just gonna be me and my brother, Bar Chef Andrew, so we'll go over and see him, have a good time, and I'll show you stuff that I don't think many people have seen before. And I'm gonna open up a little part of my life because I love you guys. And I know we're gonna see each other soon and we'll have a lot to talk about after you see this. Bye. Hey, well, as I said, a normal autumn afternoon, Saturday, there'd be maybe 50, 80, 100 people here on our cliffside home in the Rock River in Eastern Ontario, which I'm gonna show you today. But in these times, can't have those parties. Got to think of other people. Can't be selfish. So we're going to have a party for two today. And we'll talk a bit about the Crystal Head, why I started the company, and other questions. And we'll be joining our brand ambassador and chief bar chef, Andrew. And but for now, contemplate the flow of the river. It's like us. We're all in this together, all flowing together. You know, we're molecularly linked, this body of water and us. Oh, Andrew, my brother, good to see you even under these circumstances. Andrew is our ambassador for Crystal Head Vodka and our chief bar chef. And we're sort of practicing pandemic rules here, but I think, you know, I don't have it. I don't think you have it. Well, we'll be cautious, but I'm going to demask. If we keep our distance, I think we'll be all right. And we know why we do this. We do it not for ourselves so much, but in consideration of other people. So I wish I could give you a hug, man. Andrew is from Newfoundland, and Newfoundland is the source for the Crystal Head Vodka water. And that's where the whole story of our company originated. Well, yeah, why? Why get into the vodka? Why do that? Why? Believe me, I didn't need another gig. I had enough to do. But we looked at the category and found, you know, there may be a better way and a cleaner way to make this beverage, and one that can ascend the premium range in the category. So where do you start first? Well, you start with water, and the Newfoundland water is the cleanest that you can get, other than the glacial water that was above our planet 16,000 years ago, 800 feet above us. It really is that aquifer under the province of Newfoundland. So vodka is an old Russian word for water. We started with the best water, and then we went on to different processes. Now, that's where it all starts. In Newfoundland is your homeland, and it's anybody who's ever been there, it's beautiful. The people speak, as you'll see, with a little Irish lilt that they get from the West Irish from Galway. And there's a loving attitude there. And you see people holding hands and walking down the street and not looking at their iPhones and tablets all the time. So today we're working with the lovely Newfoundland water, and that is in our Aurora wheat mash. That's a sunset wheat mash. The notes on this are star, anise, peppercorn, a little spicier and a little drier than our original corn mash, which I'll talk about in a minute. But today we're just demonstrating how one can have a great time with simple ingredients using the Aurora Crystal Head. So, Andrew, what are you up to? How are you using the product today?
Well, today, Dan, and thank you very much. Today, we are going to be making a Crystal Head Aurora Canadian Mule. So, this is going to be a riff on our Moscow Mule. We're actually going to be adding in some fresh cranberry juice into this cocktail as well. So, we start off with our Moscow Mule mug, branded, of course, with Crystal Head Vodka. We're going to start off adding a little bit of ice as our base. This is a built cocktail right into the glass. So we're going to be 2 ounces of our Crystal Head Aurora, our wheat-based version. Right in there. Just like that. Next ingredient, all we're gonna need is about a 1/4 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice too, people. Not a whole lot, just a 1/4 ounce is perfect. Now, if you don't have freshly squeezed lime juice, you can just use a wedge of 1 lime, it's perfect. And this is where ours is gonna be a little bit different. We're adding 1 ounce of cranberry juice here as well. Right in the glass. Now, we're gonna add a tiny bit more ice. We just wanna build this right up to the top. And today, we're gonna be topping it off with some Fever Tree ginger beer.
Great product. Wonderful reps, Fever Tree. You know, they're out there selling their product, and we love the association with them. And Fever, you know, the mule, the Moscow mule, the Canadian mule, the Fever Head, you could also call it if it wasn't in a copper cup. But the copper cup is the traditional Moscow mule cup. All of the grains, that is the corn, the wheat that Crystal Head uses, is original source farming, right? So these are grains and corns that were planted like maybe, you know, in the 1800s, in this turn of the century. They're not organic and they're not non-GMO, but they're as close as you can get to the original crop. So we really very carefully source our grains as well as our water. And when I look to the original corn there in a few minutes, we're going to have another drink, again, just sipping today. We will talk about our entire process and how we think we work harder than any manufacturer in the world to produce this high quality, clean product. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Does Dan Aykroyd, his family and friends, consume Crystal Head Vodka? How much does the owner of Crystal Head Vodka love his product? Now, again, this is 10 years of consumption. Hundreds of people here on the property over the years at the campfires and the fun we've all had, all drinking in moderation. And the result is my collection. Yes, there they are. This is not a prop. Not a prop. These are all empty skulls consumed by my friends and family here on the Rock River in Eastern Ontario. Yeah, see, they're lonely now, empty, but the good times, think, each bottle has a conversation or an event or a special person that was visiting or, you know, a dignitary or a celebration of what we were doing here on the property at the time. This is a meaning in every bottle, a meaning brought to it by the people that consumed it, my friends and family, my close friends and family. And you know what? We'll be adding more over the years, more to come, because we're going on with exciting new products. So, from here, and it's so great to kind of have you hang at the farm with me for part of the afternoon. We don't get to visit, so we'll do this. We're going to go from here to the old farmhouse where you'll see the seance room, and that is the room in which Ghostbusters was born. So, see you downstairs. In, let me say, an optimistic view of the future, I am going to commission from Andrew with our original corn, again, sweet vanilla dry crisp with a kick of heat off the finish, 7 times filtered, 4 times distilled, Crystal Head is, plus 90 points, multiple awards around the world for all of the vodkas and the Onyx we haven't seen yet, but we're excited, and I know you're going to help us sell it and win those awards. But I've asked him to commission a classic nightclub drink, looking to the future when there'll be DJs out there and there'll be people congregating and socializing, as we hope will happen. And nightclubs and bars are the greatest places for congregations of people like us. And so now a classic Crystal Head Espresso Martini. And again, we'll leave it up for naming rights. So go ahead, Andrew. Tell us how to do it.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. This is going to be a beautiful cocktail here, ladies and gentlemen. So, we have, as Dan described, our corn-based Crystal Head Original Vodka here with peaches and cream corn from Chatham, Ontario. This is the best there is in the business. So what we're going to do, this is going to be a shaken cocktail. Right now, I'm just chilling my martini glass, but guess what? We don't need that anymore. So let's get rid of that. We're going to take 2 ounces of our Crystal Head Original, throw that right in our cocktail shaker. We have some espresso here as well, which we brewed on site. So we're going to take 1 ounce of espresso. Dan, do you want the rest of this by any chance?
Maybe the rest of the vodka there, but
Maybe the rest
not the
there
coffee.
you
I'll be
go.
speeding. I'll be heading down the highway like flat top. But
Well, we also got some of our coffee-based liqueur here. We're going to put a half of an ounce in there. That's
Yeah.
it, not a whole lot.
no, I don't have to drive my Freightliner to Cleveland tonight. Thank you.
And you know what? Just a touch of sweetness, not even a 1/4 ounce. Just
I
a
do like
little
coffee, though.
fluff. Just a fluff of sweetness of a 1-to-1 ratio simple syrup. So we're going to shake this on ice here now. It's going to get a little loud for a second, so do apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
My favorite sound.
That's right, we're going to have a little bit of fun here.
A cocktail shaker, a Harley Davidson, train wheels. The laughter of my children first, maybe. But that's the second one right there.
You really want to give it a nice shake to get that froth going. Now we have our chilled martini glass. Let's get rid of that extra little bit of water and watch this bad boy pour up.
Look at the color. It looks almost caramel. Beautiful.
Now we're not finished with this quite yet.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
We
Wow.
need to garnish this just a little bit, Dan. You hold your horses, my buddy.
Oh well, you know,
We're gonna take.
almost anxious to sample your,
I know,
your
I know.
expertise, sir.
So we have here 3 espresso beans, but we're also gonna take some dark chocolate. This is what separates us from a traditional espresso martini. We're gonna freshly grate some dark chocolate on top of here. Not a whole lot, just enough. And there you go, my friend.
Lovely. Thank you so much. It looks
You're
great.
welcome.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the old farmhouse here on the Rock River in eastern Ontario, where Ghostbusters was born. Now, why was Ghostbusters born in an old loyalist farmhouse from the 1880s? That's it in 1919. Before it was painted. There's Daniel, who was my great-great-grandfather. And there's the place in 1920 with the cattle wire. And when I was a kid, we used to walk to the lake through the cow flaps. But that was when they painted it, and the summer kitchen then was built out from there. And so Daniel had a son, Sam Aykroyd, Dr. Samuel Aykroyd. And he was very interested in spiritualism in Lilydale, New York. Chautauqua, New York. There's registered spiritualists there. You can go and get a reading as to whether you've had an afterlife or whether people are trying to reach you, or whether you've had a previous life or whether people are trying to reach you from beyond. And the thing about it is, prior to the Ghostbusters movie, no one knew what ectoplasm was. Now millions of people know what ectoplasm is from that movie because of my great-grandfather's research, inspired by the Lilydale, Chautauqua, New York, near Buffalo community. And I know many of our people watching today are in that beautiful region over there, Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls. Just love it. Niagara Falls, New York, I'm talking about. Great architecture there. Do love that part of the world. That's where the spiritualist movement started. My great-grandfather Sam was a part of that. And so he had all these journals that he wrote, and he subscribed for many years to the psychical research journals. He passed that on, that interest, to my grandfather, who was a Bell telephone engineer. So there's Sam, the spiritualist, and my great-grandfather, my grandfather, Morris, who was a Bell telephone engineer. That's my dad's father. So Daniel wasn't so much into the spiritualism. Sam was. He passed it on to Morris. They had seances in this room here, and growing up, I had all these books on ghosts and mediums and seances. My dad, as a little boy, used to watch from here as the men and women would come in the 1920s In 1920s and 30s, my dad would watch from here, and they would come in. There would be a table, and my great-grandfather Sam would basically hold a show for 90 minutes with 4 or 5 chairs and a table. And we had a medium named Walter Ashurst. He was a trance medium, and he's in the book, which I'll show you in a minute, which you can get online. And so this is where basically Ghostbusters was born, because of my great-grandfather's interest. Here's a picture that was taken at Lilydale by a photographer, and it's of my great-grandfather Sam writing at a desk. And as you can see, there are all these disembodied heads. Now, of course, one may say that it was faked, but he wasn't a hoaxer. He was a very serious researcher of this stuff, and he wouldn't have taken it. He would have taken it very seriously. He wouldn't have done a hoax like this. So that's Sam there. This cabinet has one of the most definitive spiritualist libraries in the world. Just in here, got great books on the subject. So how do we go from an Edwardian spiritualist in the 1920s to Ghostbusters? And I love this painting. This was done by a fan who depicted a poker game. And it's kind of like a seance. All the characters are sitting around. Here's another lovely, strange seance photo here. The guy with the foot on the table is having a seance, and there's a spirit box. So obviously there's a spirit being drawn. And if you turn that upside down, that little white thing at the top there is actually a skull. And so where do you go from serious spiritualist research to a great comedy like Ghostbusters? Well, I was sitting on the porch of this house back in the 70s, and I guess, late 70s, yeah. And I was reading my great-grandfather's journals, which you can get Rodale Press, A History of Ghosts. Rodale Press, Amazon still has some, and it's a definitive history of mediumship and the story of Ghostbusters. I'm sitting there, and I'm reading the American Society for Psychical Research journal, and I'm thinking, wow, there's scientists that really take this seriously. They really do. And I thought, what if we took like the science of it and then married it to the old style ghost comedies that you used to see in the 30s and 40s? Bob Hope, the Abbott and Costello, the Bowery Boys. All of them made ghost movies. Comedies, and so that's where it came from.
We have a beautiful cocktail I got planned for you today, my buddy. We got our Crystal Head Onyx here, which is our Blue Weber agave distillate. So we're going to make you a gimlet today. A gimlet is typically a gin-based cocktail, but it's a beautiful, easy lateral movement with our Onyx, and that's what we're going to do today. So already in here, we have a ½ ounce of agave syrup. We're going to put it right into our shaker. Let's move this glass over a little bit, get that centered. We have some freshly squeezed lime juice here as well, another ½ ounce, equal parts agave syrup and freshly squeezed lime juice. Then we're going to take 2 ounces of our Onyx over here. So we're going to start off by chilling our glass a little bit with a nice king cube there. Nice little shake.
So the corn, sweet, vanilla, dry, crisp with a kick of heat off the finish. The Aurora, the wheat mash, our notes there are peppercorns, anise, spicier and drier. Bar chefs love it for Bloody Marys and Caesars and stuff. This has never been done before. Blue Weber agave, distilled and treated like vodka. What are the tasting notes here? How are they different from our other two in the line?
Well, I find that, when you're talking about vodka, you're generally talking about two ends of the spectrum. There's complete neutrality, that's represented by our Crystal Head Original, our corn distillate. Then there's vodka with some character and flavor, and that's represented by our Aurora, our wheat-based distillate, and now our new Blue Weber agave distillate, Crystal Head Onyx. You're going to get that unmistakable earthy grip of agave. You're going to get some citrus, a little bit of sweetness, but that's from the water and that's from the agave core itself too. You're also going to get a little bit of the dry crisp, the earthy grip of agave, fresh cut green grass as well too. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a very delicate spirit too, and wonderful. We couldn't be happier.
I would like to try the gimlet. You see, with Crystal Head, your mixes don't overpower the vodka. It's always there. It creeps up over anything you're using, no matter how strong. We are in the beverage alcohol business. We are drinking cocktails, and that's what it's about. Very nice, sir. May I have a shot just to try a...
Of course you may.
Yes. Oh, man, the earthiness, even through that citrus, is coming through. Oh, man.
It's good, isn't it?
If you like tequila and if you like vodka, it's really good. I'm going to use that as a topper. Hey, how would you like a ride in the old Pierce? Would you enjoy that? You know, I don't know, we're kind of favoring Western New York today, as you'll see. There's great people there, as there is across the great nation of the U.S. But this car was built in Buffalo, New York in 1932. It's a Pierce Arrow V12 with an Allison V12 in it. And I know a lot of you out there, as many of you who might be interested in spiritualism, are probably interested in fine machines. And it indeed is a fine machine. But they chose the Archer. Okay, so when you're driving this car, yeah, I have to look at this little guy's butt the whole time I'm driving. And not that it's unattractive, really. So this was their sort of artistic hood ornament, the Archer. His name was Walter. He was a mechanic, a Polish American immigrant mechanic at the factory, and he posed for the sculpture. So it's a distinctive hood ornament, but again, you're looking at the butt cheeks of a man when you drive a V12, when you drive a Pierce, anyway. From Crystal Head Vodka, the newest expression, Blue Weber agave, distilled in the vodka style. Crystal Head presents Onyx. You've never seen or tasted anything like this. Let's make some drinks.